It's the left's electric vehicle hype real. Fox Business correspondent Jeff Flock decided to put Biden's green dream to the test.
They're a vision of the future that is now beginning to happen. A future of the automobile industry that is electric.
Tax credits to new electric vehicles, fuel cell vehicles, made in America. And for the first time,
why EVs are losing the race despite Biden's gamble. While the streets aren't yet dominated by EVs, despite years of anticipation and bold claims from industry giants and political figures alike, there's a twist in the tale waiting to unfold. In this deep dive, we'll explore the startling downturn of the EV market, revealing the unsold stocks, dealers' reluctance, and a surprising shift back toward gas combustion vehicles. But amidst these challenges, a potential game-changer lurks on the horizon, a secret weapon that could redefine the EV landscape. President Joe Biden's administration has earmarked a staggering $3.1 billion, part of a colossal $1 trillion infrastructure plan to revitalize U.S. battery manufacturing. This bold move, aiming to transform the entire battery supply chain domestically, could be the turning point the industry desperately needs. Will this significant investment be the lifeline that revives the struggling EV market? Or is it just a glimmer of hope in an otherwise bleak scenario? Stay tuned and watch till the end as we uncover the layers of this complex story and reveal whether the dream of a sustainable electric future is within grasp or just a fading illusion. Currently, the situation in the EV industry is far worse than anticipated. With several automotive industry leaders facing staggering losses, how could companies renowned for innovation and market leadership find themselves in such an alarming and unpredictable situation? Ford, a household name in the automotive industry, has encountered a shocking setback with its entry into the electric vehicles market. The company reported an astonishing loss of $36,000 on each EV sold, combined with a worrying backlog of 9,200 unsold EVs, which presents a daunting scenario. Their ambitious project, the electric Mustang Mach-E, though celebrated for its innovation, is bleeding money. Is this due to misjudgment of the market demand by Ford, or does it signal deeper issues within the industry? Before answering that, let's first shed light upon the fact that Ford alone is not in this suffering. Tesla, the trailblazer in electric vehicles, has also hit a demand downturn. Known for its high-end EVs, Tesla shocked the market by drastically reducing the prices of its popular models, the Model X and Model S. Can you believe it that models introduced in 2020 are almost 50% cheaper now? Rather than being expensive in this economically high inflation, why would a company renowned for its premium pricing strategy suddenly slash rates? It's a strategic move, but it hints at underlying issues. General Motors, GM, another titan in the industry, hasn't been spared either. While GM hasn't disclosed specific figures like Ford, there are clear signs of financial strain. Their ambitious commitment to an all-electric future, including the release of multiple new models, requires immense capital, and GM is not ready to take high risks in this sensitive market dynamics. These individual company stories collectively paint a troubling picture of the EV industry. The struggles of Ford, Tesla, and GM aren't isolated incidents, but symptoms of a broader industry crisis. Let's delve deeper into the consumer's perspective and the environmental implications of EVs, further unraveling the complexities of this industry. Stay tuned and don't forget to subscribe as we explore whether the dream of a sustainable electric future is truly attainable or just a fading dream. The dream of owning an electric vehicle, EV, comes with a much higher price tag than many anticipate. The average cost of an EV can be significantly high. For instance, the 2020 Tesla Model S starts at around $80,000, a significant leap from the average gas-powered car price of approximately $36,000. This initial cost disparity is a major deterrent for average consumers. High dealer markups further inflate the cost of EVs. Dealers, recognizing the growing interest in EVs, often add a premium to these vehicles, pushing the prices even higher. The question arises, why are EVs so expensive? The answer lies in the technology. The battery, the heart of an EV, is costly to produce. Lithium-ion batteries, which power most EVs, require expensive materials like lithium, nickel, and cobalt. These raw materials account for a significant portion of the vehicle's cost, which customers don't feel worth investing in at the moment. But the main issue to be resolved is still not the batteries but the complications customers face due to the battery's limited range. On average, an EV like the Nissan Leaf offers a range of about 150 miles, while some Tesla models claim up to 370 miles. However, these figures can vary based on driving conditions, weather, and the car's age. In comparison, a traditional gasoline car can easily travel over 300 miles on a full tank. This limitation imposes a psychological barrier known as range anxiety, where drivers fear running out of charge with no charging station in sight, significantly dropping EV sales. You must be wondering why range anxiety is an issue when the EV industry has launched numerous charging stations throughout the U.S. Well, that's another scam customers who bought EVs had to bear. But how? The availability and convenience of charging stations are very critical for EV adoption. The infrastructure is lagging, especially in rural and less densely populated areas. The United States, for instance, has about 100,000 public charging outlets. However, these are unevenly distributed, with a concentration in urban areas. The lack of charging stations along highways and in remote areas complicates the issue of range anxiety. The misguided facts about the charging stations and false marketing of EVs have made the potential customers so furious that it now seems impossible to recover customer confidence in stimulating the EV market once again. Curious to know what we mean by false marketing of EVs to boost their sales? While EVs are celebrated for their zero emissions, the production process of their batteries tells a different story. The manufacturing of lithium-ion batteries, essential for EVs, is energy-intensive and has a significant environmental footprint. To produce a single kilowatt-hour of battery capacity, it's estimated to emit approximately 150 to 200 kilograms of CO2. Considering that a typical EV battery is around 60 kilowatt-hours, producing just one battery could emit up to 12,000 kilograms of CO2. The end-of-life management of EV batteries presents another environmental challenge. The recycling of lithium-ion batteries is not straightforward due to their complex chemistry and the variety of materials used. Currently, only about 5% of lithium-ion batteries are recycled globally. The rest end up in landfills, posing a long-term environmental risk due to their toxic and corrosive materials. Though initially EVs promised a greener future, the reality showcases a different reality that is now known to every common man over the years. The high costs and infrastructural shortcomings make EV ownership challenging for many, while the environmental impact of battery production and disposal raises critical concerns. In this huge crisis, Joe Biden has taken some bold steps towards a final attempt to recover the market before its ultimate crash. Why is he so invested in this struggling sector? The answer is shrouded in mystery, but what is clear are the aggressive measures his administration is taking to make electric vehicles a mainstream reality. These mind-blowing efforts to be revealed to you include three primary categories: financial incentives, infrastructure development, and technological innovation. Central to Biden's strategy is financial incentives, particularly tax credits to make EVs more affordable. Imagine buying an EV and seeing your tax bill dramatically reduced. For instance, a $7,500 tax credit could reduce a $10,000 income tax bill to just $2,500. This approach significantly lowers the barrier to EV ownership, making it an attractive option for average consumers. However, these incentives aren't just handed out indiscriminately. They come with specific criteria for the EV's make and model. Additionally, these benefits are not indefinite. They phase out once a manufacturer hits a certain sales milestone, providing an incentive to industry leaders to stay in the market and make EVs compete with gas combustion engines in the near future. But the real game changer for the market remains undiscovered yet. The administration has earmarked a staggering $3.1 billion to revitalize battery manufacturing within the U.S. This initiative, part of a larger $1 trillion infrastructure plan, is a strategic step towards transitioning from gas-powered to electric vehicles. As the industry stands on the edge of an uncertain future, we're left in suspense, predicting if the dream of an electric revolution will reach new heights or quietly fade away into history. If you're as curious to solve the riddle as we are, don't forget to subscribe and hit the like button to be the first to get updates on the automotive industry moves.